I've been in cybersecurity for the last 10 years, more so into forensics, mostly in incidents response. But above everything, I'm also doing a lot of mentorship, especially to young people. And probably what informed me to participate in this session is because I have encountered many young people, and there seems to be a gap. You meet a young person, they are very good in Linux, they are very good in penetration testing, they are good in different skill sets, but you find out somehow they are stagnant in their growth as far as cybersecurity is concerned, and also IT. And also when you try to engage most of us, or most of the young people now, most of them, they do not have an idea of the end goal. So where do they want to be into the near future? So that is why I believe that this session is very important, where we somehow drift from the technical stuffs, presentation of terminals, Linux, and all those things, so that we can be able to speak to our hearts. So I want to speak to your heart this evening, because that is somehow what matters. Because technical skills are very good, but if you do not know how to interface the technical and you yourself as an individual, then you will find out that very soon, as you keep growing in the career, you're going to find out that what mattered most is you as an individual, and how much you have developed and you have grown as an individual, or rather as a human being. Otherwise, when you are at 50, you'll be the most skilled person, but the most arrogant, and you cannot even be invited to a board to share your skills and even your knowledge or your wisdom. So that is why I believe such a session is very important, even as we continue to sharpen our skills, our technical skills. So I have seen many young people with so many certifications, but when you find out they are still struggling, there are jobs, there seems to be so many jobs. We are told that jobs are there, but many young people, they are applying for these jobs, they are not getting these jobs. And when you look at their CVs, you may identify some gaps. I was looking at some CVs about 2 or 3 weeks ago on some projects that we had requested young people to apply for a project there. And I was able to see that almost 10 CVs, they looked identical, meaning that they copy, they paste stuffs. And when you try to engage them on the basis of such a CV, you find out they do not even know what they have written in, and the CVs belongs to them. And also, it doesn't matter what level you are, whether you have just come out of the school, whether you are, let's say you have worked for a few years, because you want to upgrade from one level to the other. You want to move from the technical to the management, maybe to the leadership, to the C level. Also, you want maybe to transit from the employment, maybe to transit to be running your own company. So, and if you get into such an environment, when you're now running your own company, things are going to change. How you have been working, in someone else's work or environment, and now you're running your own team, environments are going to change so much. So briefly, that is who I am. I'm also a vice chair at Kenya Cybersecurity and Forensic Association, having started together with a team, I think for the last 7 years now. It has not been easy, but we are proud that we at least is some value that we are adding into the lives of many professionals and many young people. I'm also running Cyber Excel Fund. So this is a fund which provides support, basic support to most of innovations around cybersecurity, And the main objective is to promote the innovative mindset amongst young people in the area focusing on cybersecurity. Because what we have seen is a lot of disruption around fintech. But when you come to cybersecurity, it's very rare to spot an innovation that is focused on cybersecurity, apart from one antivirus and a few tools here and there. But it doesn't mean that our young people cannot innovate on the same. The only thing that we have is the capacity is there, but now they are not able to understand what are they supposed to do. How do you get market for these innovations? What if you only have an idea? How do you move it from idea to something that is a workable solution that can also be able to be used in the industry or in the market? So that is briefly who I am. I take back the steering wheel to our moderator. And thank you very much for coming.
Frederick, I think you can begin the presentation. So,
Okay, I've now been granted permission, and I want us to engage. You can use the chat facility to just communicate, and maybe if you are there, you can just say hi, so that we have acknowledgement, the response, the acknowledgement, so that we can know that we are together in this platform. And just to ask, how many people maybe are already working in this platform? Maybe you already have gotten a job, you are working, maybe you are in internship, So how many of us are already working, so that we understand the perspective that we are going to use? You can maybe just highlight on the chat, or you can, I don't know if the raising hand will suffice. So if you are working, maybe you can raise your hand, then you lower it down. I just want to take a note of how many of us are already working, and how many of us, of course, maybe are looking for jobs. Yeah, continue raising your hands. I can see Faris Muhambi. I can see Mary. Mary is working, Stella also, Laura. Wow, a good population here. Eric, Martin, you're already working. You're already, generating some income from your skill, which is very, very important. Maybe the next focus would be how many of us are not working, and probably they are expecting to be working, or they are looking up to, getting some form of jobs or employment or something like that. How many of us are not working? Don't worry, actually, don't fear. This might be your opportunity to get a job, So I believe the hands which are now raised indicates those people are not working amongst us. Albert, you can see Leo, Emmanuel, but Mary, you had raised that you are also working, and Eric, so maybe kindly you can raise your hand. Collins as well. So we are going to take one or two people who are not yet working currently. And don't worry when maybe I point you to just share briefly, just less than a minute. We can start with Albert. Albert, is it that maybe you are in school or you've tried maybe to apply for a job? And what is one challenge that you have faced? Albert, you can maybe unmute.
Hello, guys.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, Albert. I'm a student. I'm in third year, but I'm studying computer science. Yeah, and right now I'm in attachment. Yeah, that's it.
You're actually working, because we can say that when you are in attachment, you're already exposed to an environment where you get an opportunity to understand the practical aspect. Who is not working and they are not in school? So probably you are expecting, you are hoping to get a job. I told you, don't fear, because you may get a job from this place. So you can maybe Collins. I don't know if you are in school yet, or you are already looking for a job. You can tell us. Continue, Collins. So Collins doesn't seem to be speaking. I can see Leo. Maybe you can share for a minute. Are you in school?
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Hello,
yes.
you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Continue.
So my name is Leo Wawero. I'm a 4th-year student taking computer security and forensics. Okay, the reason why I'm not working is first because I'm a student. Yeah, that is mostly the reason why I'm not working. It's because I'm in school.
Okay. Why are you taking that course? That course that you are now in the 4th year. Why are you taking that course?
I have always had an interest in security and hacking, to be specific. I would say the first thing that I ever hacked was I was back in primary school. The first thing I hacked was my mom's phone using something called a Bluetooth hacker. So I used to control it remotely, and from there, my curiosity about hacking and security it started growing from that. And from there, once I heard that there was a university that was offering computer security and forensics, I did not think twice about it. I just went straight for it. And yeah, this is where I think I can make a difference.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. So you already understand, the main reason why you are taking that course. And a good percentage of many students who are already studying computer security forensics, I have come to interact with some, and most of them, a very good percentage, they do not know why they are taking computer security, cybersecurity, or even forensics. And if you do not have main reason or the motivation of why you are taking that course as a career, what will happen is you will get into frustration, most likely when you are through with your study. Why? There's nothing that is driving you. So even, let's say, even when you finish, let's say, the course or the classwork and all those stuff, so you may not put a lot of effort to sharpen yourself, even for personal development and all those things. So any little frustration, like the other day, I met someone working in a bank as a teller. So we struck some conversation, and he told me he had a degree in computer security from Mary University. And from there, we engaged. We met about 3 months ago. We started to engage, and I came to understand that he was pushed to do that degree, through media, the hacking stuff. So he thought that after he took that specific degree in computer security, then probably in the near future, he'll become a hacker. So I was asking him, what type of a hacker are you talking about? So he was saying that he'll be hacking ATMs, he'll be assisting, I don't know, international people, all those stuffs. And you can imagine this is someone who has already gone for 4 years, but he is not even working in an area that has any relationship with whatever he studied in school. So those are some of the frustrations that many young people, they have come to encounter when they come out of the school. So in a sense, you waste your 4 years. Then when you come out, and because you are still growing, you're maturing, you're growing, bills are demanding to be paid. You do not have money. You don't even have motivation to come up with something along the lines of cybersecurity, forensics, data protection, all those things. So you find most of them, they become victims, they become victims because the motivation that drove them to partake that specific course, the motive was not very clear. Or even the other day, another cousin of mine was asking, she has a daughter, and was saying, I want her to partake, cybersecurity. So which is the best university? And I asked them, so why do you want her to do that? Because you see, they've been seeing news, hacking, people are hacking. So this is the next big thing. This is the hottest thing, the hottest career. And when I look at myself personally, the time it has taken me, even fast to be where I am, it has taken me like from 2006 until today. That is almost 14 years. And I feel like I've not even started. So someone is saying that they have watched news from CNN, this organization is doing this and that. Then they are so much motivated to take such a course. So I told them, can you just go back and check your heart? Check your heart if your heart is in that thing. Why? Because if your heart is not in that career, and frustration sets in, there are no jobs. We are told you need experience for you to work in a cybersecurity department. So even if you are hired, maybe with 1 year or 2 years experience, the chances are you will never touch the cybersecurity department. Maybe you'll just be interfacing with IT and such stuff. So that is why it is very, very important to align our motivation, our motivation with the ability. What do I mean? I'm going to share briefly a PowerPoint presentation. So what I mean by aligning your motivation, so that the motivation happens at your heart, inside your heart. So what is this thing that is motivating you? So you may be motivated to take cybersecurity as a career, but now you need ability. In this case, you need technical ability. So there are people I have seen, they love Linux platforms. They love, let's say, programming, Python, all those things. But honestly, they don't, their brain cannot grasp these things. They even try to cram the commands, Linux command. They cannot master even 5 Linux commands. And yet, they have the motivation. So this is where it is a paradox. So do you depend on your technical ability and skills, or do you listen, to your motivation? Your motivation is telling you now, this is the career. This is the career, regardless of whatever is happening out there. But now you take a long time to even understand, to even grasp, to even comprehend. And it will become a problem if you ignore and you come out into the industry and you are given a task. So performing or executing that task, and cybersecurity being a very practical thing and practical career, you will struggle so much. And what will happen is that your reputation will be at the stake. So people will know that you have no ability to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And because of our humanity nature, we may tend to cover up, to cover up some of these weaknesses, which is something that I have seen. Very few young people are honest with themselves, admitting that honestly, Linux is not my thing. But we want to shine because you feel that Linux is what will put you on the table of the geeks, the geeks. So when the geeks are called, you are there. But in essence, you cannot comprehend to navigate around Linux environment. So as we move along, I also request that if you have a question, you can be able to just to share on the DM with the moderators. And also after this, we will also continue encouraging you people to also continue sharing some of these questions. And I also have a question here, and I'm going to, it is not rather a question, but it is a tongue twister. So I want, we have Mary with us here, so that we know that Mary has not indicated that she is here, and yet physically maybe she's not here. So Mary, there's something I have posted on DM. Can you just, can you read for us, Mary? Can you read that statement very fast?
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Repeat.
She sells by the seashore.
Good. I give you a clap for that. A clap. So I also have a question here. So someone, I want to test us on our critical thinking and how much we have stretched our minds. So there's a question here, and the person to answer the first one, you may get, I don't Google because I'll know when you are Googling. I can be able to, just a minute, give me a minute, I post it on the chat. So there is the question. So the first person to answer, you get some airtime after this. So we start counting from 5, 4, 3. So the question is, what 5 letters would become shorter when you add 2 letters to it? That is the question. So you can answer, if you feel you have the answer. Mike, you have just Googled, I know that, but you'll get your airtime after this. So you are going to connect through DM, and you are going to get your 200 airtime, Safaricom. So if you're in Airtel, then I don't think then you may be assisted. So briefly, we are going to focus on a few things. The first one, we'll look at self-audit. What does it mean? Regardless of where you are, whether you are doing your own company, whether you have worked for 1 year, whether you are in internship, whether you have worked for 20 years. So you will have to do some self-audit. Next one, we look at some of the limitations against your growth. So what limits you? And most of these limitations, they come from within. So some of us, we are struggling with belief systems, which, go back in time from our families, some belief systems, some mindsets, which cannot allow us to grow into our full potential. So we'll also look at value. How do you add value to yourself? How comes someone seems to be, let's say you have masters and someone has a bachelor's or even a diploma. So John, you can good. So you can mute. Yeah, good. So how comes that someone with a diploma, they can earn more money than you when you have a master's degree? And in your job day to day, you are so tired every day on a daily basis. Value. The next one will be on self-assessment tools. So we have tools which can help you to sustain confidence, to sustain consistency. Like now in the office, what we do is that after we after we engage young people from college or from the university, they usually partake a training, a very vigorous training for almost 1 year. And this training ensures that they unlearn, they also relearn, they reskill. This is a language that you need to understand, especially for those who are already in school. You are going to do a lot of unlearning. There's so much garbage that your lecturers are giving you, something that cannot even add value to you when you come to the industry. Because when you come to the industry, you are going to find very different scenarios out here. And the last one will be on how to maximize your potential. You have so much potential in you, but unless you are trained and you are taught on how to maximize, and you can only maximize this potential when you first understand yourself from within. Maybe you are an introvert. How is that you being introvert limiting you from sustaining a growth within the cybersecurity? Maybe you are now doing pen test. In the next 1-2 years, you will not be doing pen test. You may become tired dealing with screens. And now what you do, maybe you transit to doing policies and guiding those who are already doing technical stuff. After that, you now transit into management, managing a team of people. From there, you transit into leadership. From there, you maybe run your own company. And what happens is that if you want to grow and to the end, what will happen is that you must be very, very intentional, and you must perform a self-audit in yourself. Maybe what is stopping you is pride. So you cannot be told anything. And when you look at your CV, and we can be able to spot a pride in you. How? We can see maybe you have had like 3 jobs in 1 year. Probably you need first to self-evaluate yourself. How comes you cannot sustain 1 job for 1 year? How comes you cannot stay on a job for more than 3 months? Then it means that probably you have a problem with yourself as an individual. And sometimes as human beings, we like to be very dishonest with ourselves. We lie to ourselves. You know that you are struggling with something as a young person. You are even struggling with trust issues. You are so always bitter. And I told you that we are sharing issues of the heart, because if your heart is sorted out, if your heart is clean, then there will be no any limitation towards your growth. That one I can assure you 100%. I have engaged young people, and the first 1 week, you discern a lot of bitterness in their heart. So every time they are put in a team, they'll be the first people to poison the teamwork. They'll be the first people to gossip. Many of us young people, we are gossiping a lot. We are using a lot of our time gossiping instead of reading a book. And I know there's none of us here who is a gossiper where you work, or even where you are partaking your course. So allow me just to share the screen briefly. In just a minute. So I have, you can see my screen, I believe. So there's something called a growth mindset. And I'm going to ask you to just take a minute, just study that image the way it is, and conduct an audit to yourself. I know, don't tell us, maybe when you are frustrated, you give up. I know you do that, but we are not here to condemn you. Maybe you don't like to be challenged. So when you are challenged, there's something in you that fight back. That means that you have pride and you don't know. So that is why you cannot sustain a job for more than 1 month, for more than 1 year. So also failure, when you fail on something, you condemn yourself. You don't even extract any learning from your failures. Maybe your abilities are constant. You are not even challenging yourself. You are not even reading a book. Maybe your potential are already predetermined. At any time you are given an assignment, whether in school or even where you work, you are the first person to start gossiping. Young people are not accustomed to gossiping. Gossiping is left to our moms, they have all the time. But when you see a young person gossiping, there's a problem. And I'm speaking this with a lot of respect, so don't take me wrong. But I want to apologize in advance. So if there's something that I'm going to share and it touches your heart on a wrong way, just forgive me. Know that, my interest is to make sure that our young people, we are good, we have good hearts. From there's nothing that is going to limit us. And for some of us who follows my Twitter account, I receive so many DMs when I share those, on young people. So someone opens up that I have been struggling with this for a long time. So how can you assist? So I identify that it is consistent that many young people are struggling, but they are not able to come out. As you can see this is self-explanatory. You can have a growth mindset. And this is what I want us to cultivate after this session. So the reason this session was prepared is that someone, even if not all of us, when you are out of this session, we are going to cultivate a growth mindset. So remember, everything starts at the mind and it ends with your mind. For instance, take an example of Dr. Bright. At his young age, he has been able to already achieve PhD. I have not done that. So he has challenged himself, and he is also challenging other people and other professionals. He is also doing a lot of things out there at his, age. So with your 25 years, what have you been able to achieve? You are working in that company, you are running that company. Apart from the finances and such stuff, how much impact have you created for yourself and also for other people? So growth mindset, you can see there, these are people who values feedback. These are people who have mentors. They also try new things. They take any failure in their lives as an opportunity to grow. You go, you get into a wrong relationship, then you mess up. You take that as a learning experience. You don't kill yourself. You forgive yourself very fast. And let me tell you, we have interacted with many young people. And one thing that I have seen very consistent, if there's something that maybe you did wrong somewhere, you condemn yourself, and you never forgive yourself, what happens is that it will always manifest in your job, whether you are with a customer or you are working in, in an environment. So sometimes people tend to be very protective of themselves because they have some sort of insecurity around them. So they cannot open up even to mentorship, and this is going to work against you. And it will also affect your growth in terms of your career. So some of us, we are here, we are in different stages, as you can see here. I want to ask you, which step are you at today in your journey in cybersecurity? You are here today. You came into this session, maybe expecting to be shown some terminals, to be shown some SQL injection and such stuff. But I'm going to disappoint you. Why? I want you to check and see, where are you? Are you the one who cannot do it? Are you the one who is going to try to do it? Are you the one who have already done it? Probably you want to specialize in, let's say, offensive. What measures have you taken? How many mentors who are very good in offensive security have you identified? Or you think that you know more than them, so you cannot, your pride and your attitude cannot allow you to even to humble yourself before them so that you can learn. I have seen people talking against some people that I look up to, especially in cyber and all that, in this country. And for me personally, there are people I cannot even talk about. Why? Because I know the price they have paid. I know that I can be able to benefit from them. So today, ask yourself and answer, So the next one is there's something called Maslow hierarchy of needs. So we are talking of employability, running your own company, but life will always summarize into this pyramid. So where the job is at the safety. So if you have a job, for instance, you are already safe and you feel you are safe. So the other things to do with morality and such stuff. So if you look at the esteem, this is where you now have your self-esteem, where you have confidence, respect of and by others. How much do you respect your peers? How much do you respect those people who are below you? Some of you are working in organizations, Big Five and others. And you have people who are below you. You have people assigned maybe from internship. How much do you respect them? So you want to show them that you know a lot of Linux and such stuffs. So that is not the way to grow. Self-actualization. How much passion do you have for whatever area that you are studying in cybersecurity, in forensics, whatever area that you are in? How much creative are you? Creativity is a soft skill. In the university, I'm sure you are not taught on soft skill. So the soft skill is the software part of you. And the software part of you, it determines 90% of your life. So the hardware part is the terminal stuffs, the Linux, databases, application, all those things. But what determines how you are going to be effective and useful to the nation, not only to your own stomach, because I have seen people very committed to their own stomach. They cannot even assist their own families when they get a job. And that is why sometimes you are not even getting a job, because when you get that job, you will not even help your own relatives. You are waiting to get a job so that you can revenge. You show them, now I have arrived, you thought I will not make it in life. So you will stay longer waiting. So self-actualization is more on the soft skill, as we are going just to look at the next slide. So self-audit, I'm trying to hurry up because we may need to extend in a few minutes, like 20 or something like that. I know we are maybe relaxing in our homes, waiting to partake some food and maybe just take some rest. So you can just follow. So some of the benefits of self-audit is this happens at your heart. And the best thing is that you cannot lie to your heart. It does not matter how much technical skills that you have. What matters is how is your heart. Even as you continue to build your capacity to stretch yourself, even to learn how to engage with people, what is the status of your heart? Like I can give an example of like your two leaders, Laura and Eve. I have engaged them. I have ever sat down with them, 1, 2, 3, trying to share this and that. And I can tell you, I know they have good hearts. One, because they are able to listen, to be advised. This one goes like this. So that means that is someone who has a good heart. And when you have a good heart, automatically things will be attracted to you. So that is the nature of life. So who influenced you into cybersecurity? So most of us, we are already there in the career. So probably we found ourselves because we were hacked. Then we got into the career with a lot of revenge and zeal, saying that we are also going to hack back. So you need to align your motives with your ability also, and the opportunities which are already there. So where are you failing as an individual? Yourself, ask this question, ask yourself this question. So where is it that you are failing? You feel that you are not maximizing on your potential fully in that department. Probably there's something that you can do extra to make you more valuable in that department. So the other one is, what is your evidence of growth that you can see? So some of us 3, 4 years ago, we could not even construct one sentence. Maybe now we can be able to comprehend, we can speak before people, we can study, we can talk, we can hold and host such a session. So those are some of the indicators of growth, evidence of growth. What is the evidence of growth in you personally? So this is not hypothetical. Try to personalize this presentation to yourself. So what is the evidence of growth? So probably you used to hate on people, you used to gossip, you used to do this and that. And now, 2 years down the line, you have stopped. That is already growth. And the more you continue to grow, the more you attract the right people and the right network. Because there's a level that you get to. If you have gossip, you know, the people at that level, they cannot sustain you. So at that level, they don't sustain anyone who knows how to gossip, who knows not how to be productive with their time. So the other one is, if given an opportunity to fix that failure, how would you fix it? You are the one who knows. Maybe you know you are proud, you are this and that. If you are given an opportunity to do that, you need to do something called self-test, self-audit, you know? The same way the modern vehicles, when there's a problem, they indicate on the dashboard that maybe the pressure is down, the fuel is down. So also you need an indicator that there's a signal in your heart, which is sent from your heart, that there's a problem somewhere. One thing I have seen in many corporates right now, there's so much politics, there's so much wickedness in most of these organizations, that if your heart is not right, you are even going to kill someone because they spoke about you, against you. They brought some slanderous information, some fake information to the boss and all that. So if you have not learned how to check your heart as you work in that organization, as you partake that course, wherever you are going to have it very rough. So the other one is soft skill, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, teamwork, emotional intelligence. How do you relate with people? If you're an extrovert and you are relating with an introvert, do you relate them from the basis of an introvert or extrovert? Maybe you talk a lot. So in that department where you work, you are the one who talk a lot and you take a lot of time, you know. People want to be productive, but you are just talking. And what you are talking does not even add value to you and also to the team. So these are things that you call yourself to a small meeting, and now you talk to your heart and you talk with your heart. So the other one is, how much have you been faithful? And I have borrowed from the Bible. Luke 16 verse 12, it says, and if you are not faithful with other people's things, why should you be trusted with things of your own? It is my prayer that most of us that we are working, let's say we are employed, my prayer is that one day you will also maybe grow to a point of running your own organization. And let me tell you, one of the qualifications for you to run successfully later in life is how much faithful you are, whether you are working, whether you are in school, whether you are working, how much faithful you are you? Do you steal your employer's time? How much time do you spend on Facebook instead of maybe reading a book or even reading a blog that is going to add value to you? Remember, whoever you are working for instance, may not even be seeing you, but we have one invisible who does not, you cannot see him, but he is seeing you. So when the time comes for you to have your own company, you know, the same thing that you are doing now, you are also going to experience them. So I want to insist and to encourage you, please, where you work and where you are, and as you continue to progress and to grow in your career, please cultivate something called faithfulness. Be very faithful. So if you are given a team where you are working, do not start to tell them 1, 2, 3. If you are sent maybe to a customer, for instance, do not go and try to go behind, you know, your company. Try to, you know, to maybe sell a solution at a cheaper price, then you take the amount. Those are things, you know, it's called faithfulness. And one thing that is lacking in our generation, unfortunately, is something called faithfulness. So try to cultivate that, and that is something that you learn by your own. So how much are you also increasing value for yourself as far as cybersecurity is concerned? Some of the limitations that I have seen, one of it is procrastination, obvious. So what you do, you want to write a report. I'm also a victim, and I'm also trying to fix, especially on the area of writing a report. So you do a project, then you write the project in your head and in your mind. And just, transferring it from the mind to write it, now it becomes a problem. Let's say you want to read a book. I know most of us, we have been postponing reading a book. So what do you do? How do you sort out on the part of procrastination? So this is one of the limitations for your growth, and probably why you are not getting that job. Because every day you are saying, I'm going to apply, I'm going to do this, I'm going to research, I'm going even to provide pro bono services. But because you have procrastination, and procrastination is just postponing, you postpone an activity and you say that you are going to do it very soon. Lack of patience, especially most of us, we are always in haste. We want to showcase. You learn something small, then all over Twitter, you are teaching people how to do SQL injection, which is okay. But you need first to master, then to avoid embarrassing yourself. You may share something, let's say on Twitter or whatever, then someone else respond and take you to task, and you are not able to defend whatever you have learned. So let us try to be patient. We apply for jobs, we apply for projects. If you don't have patience, then it becomes a challenge. And this is a soft skill. Inconsistency in your commitment. Most of us, where we are working, we start something. So how many of us, by the start of this year, we promised ourselves that this year we are going to read a book, we are going to do this, we are going to do this. Then until now, if you are to do audit, honestly, how many of us have been able to achieve that? So consistency, I have seen, and this is something that we teach in the office. So there are things that we give, to our colleagues in the office. Then they teach, those things teach them on the aspect of consistency. So if you start something, for instance, you start reading a book, you start researching on Metasploit. So what you do is that you push unto the end. So most of us, we are accustomed to, you leave something before you attain the maximum. And what happens is that you do not achieve that goal. If there's one training that you can really struggle with, and when you achieve it, it puts so much value in you, is something called consistency. Because many people, they will claim they are consistent, but they are not. For instance, a good example with the team that is managing the Shihaks. So they have been consistent for 5 years. And I can assure you, anyone who expects them to, maybe to go down or something like that, they are just dreaming. Why? We can trace consistency. For 5 years, they have been very, very consistent. How comes that they will not progress in the next 5 years? And they'll move to the next level, of course. So as a young person, wherever you are, wherever you are working, try to cultivate consistency in whatever you do. So fixed mindset, we have looked at that. We may not go a lot into that. We also spoke about pride. How do you break these limitations? Of course, you must cultivate confidence. We have said that. Practice consistency. So consistency, you have to practice. It is not something that you feel. It is like some of us who pray. You do not feel like to pray. So prayer is a sacrifice. You push yourself. You wake up in the morning, you want to make a prayer, but the sleep is just heavy, and there are so many other competing interests, So it is something that you practice yourself. And if you are struggling with consistency, so this is something I can advise you. Look for a book, then commit yourself to be reading, like, let's say a chapter or 10 pages per day. As you read that, there's something that is being built into your mind, and that thing is called consistency. And also you are going to get to be disciplined. So if you say that you are doing 10 pages per day, that's it. We will look at a tool that can help you. Value productivity. So productivity is not then how many tasks that you do. So you do so many tasks. At the end of the day, you are lying to yourself that you have been so much productive. You do so many applications for jobs. So at the end of the day, you are even feeling nice that you have applied for so many jobs. You may apply for 1 or 2 jobs only, but you have been productive because you researched on that company and the company aligns with your interest and your growth. So it is not only the financial aspect that is leading you to maybe apply for jobs in such places. So when it comes to productivity, for instance, in the office, we have something called urgent and we have something called important. So most of us, do we deal with urgent activity or important activity? For instance, reading an email or reading a blog on how to become good. All these 2 things are okay, but reading an email, it seems to be more important than the blog, which looks like it's very, very urgent. Competing interest from social media, from so many platforms, notifications on social media, Instagram, Eric Omodi is running this show, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua has been fired. So you want to read all these things. At the end of the day, you are so tired and you lie to yourself that you have achieved so much, but there's a measure of productivity. So how much have you improved yourself at the end of the day? And where you are working, how much have they also gained, even in terms of growth? Seeking mentorship, maintaining and sustaining a focus in your career, but the most important, seeking mentorship. Sorry, I will be asking, how many of us have mentors? Like now we are launching a remote mentorship stroke internship, where we'll be doing or conducting mentorship to young people remotely once per week. Why? We cannot accommodate many young people at once. And we have seen so many gaps, amongst our young people. You find someone is very technical, but there's a gap to do with soft skill. They are not patient, they are not consistent, and these things are not taught in our universities. In our curriculum, we are not taught these things. And this is where the importance of mentorship comes in. Even some of your CVs, they need to be revealed. You need to set your CV, we review them for you, then we ask you to amend here. For instance, you may look at a CV. For instance, let's say you finished in 2015 or let's say 2012. So from 2012, internship for 1 year, 2 years, then you went to another job up to 2016, then 2018. Then between 2018 and 2020, we don't see anything that is happening in your CV. So there's a gap. So if you set that CV for any job opportunity, what will happen is that whoever has received your CV, they are going to ask themselves so many questions. Where was this person for 2 years? What were they doing? And sometimes you engage young people and they say that that time maybe I was getting into marriage or something like that. So how do you mitigate so that you can be able to remove such a gap in your CV? So you may need someone to mentor you and to advise you. Some of our CVs, are not in good shape. Some of our CV have, basic stuffs. We want to see what is it, when we hear of, let's say, Eve, what comes from our minds? What is it that we can connect with Eve, for instance? When you talk of, let's say, Dr. Bright, I'm referring to him because he's my friend. So when you talk of him, you have offensive, 1, 2, 3. So there's something that you can connect to him, and that is his skill set, and that is his value. That is his value, and no one can, maybe, even if someone replaces him, but we know him because of 1, 2, 3. So what do we know you on? What is it that you have done? So how much value have you created in yourself and for yourself as an individual, not even for the company? And what is value? Value is degree of importance of something, action, or someone. So how much important are you? Such that in that company, it is very hard for you to be replaced. How easy is it to replace you in that department? If a new position comes or a new opportunity comes, how easy will it be for you to be promoted from where you are to that position? And this will be determined by the value that you have created for yourself. And by value, we have seen it is the degree of importance. It's a very simple definition. How much important are you without referring to pride? Because now when you say you are very important, instead of saying for humanity to say I'm proud and all that. So how much value have you created in yourself? So first, there's something called lizard brain in you. It's called lizard brain. And this is the source of procrastination in your brain. It's called amygdala. So you can Google it and you'll see the part of the brain which is responsible for your procrastination. And it is a very big part of your brain. So this is where it tends to make you insecure all the time. You look at your M-Pesa balance and the balance is depleting. So this part of the brain called lizard brain, it starts now to to fire, to fire some signals that there's a danger. My M-Pesa balance is going down. My salary is going down. And most of us, we are stuck in jobs because of the lizard brain, which tells you now, insecurity. If you read here, the human brain is wired to crave security and predictability. This process is controlled by that. It can misfire. So most of us, we have so many misfiring, and that's why we make wrong decisions. And we see danger where there is none. So this is where procrastination comes. So by you writing a report, you are going to miss your movie or something like that. So what happens is that the procrastination sets in. And when the procrastination comes, you feel so secure. And you don't know you are wasting your time. And you're also wasting, the clock is ticking, for instance. So that is something that you need to avoid. You are trained on how to avoid this. So you have to be trained. You have to also practice. The next one is build your personal brands. So how many of us are on LinkedIn? So if you shared your LinkedIn right now, who is the person that you are going to see? Are we going to see a hacker, or are we going to see someone that we can engage? Something that we can be able to engage, that we can engage, to be able to sort our problems. Can we see a problem solver? Can we see a critical thinker? So if you look at my LinkedIn, I share a lot on cyber and those things. And the reason I do that is because, one, I am enjoying to do that. Second, I know that on LinkedIn, for instance, there are potential investors there. There are potential people we can network with and come up with solutions. So in LinkedIn, are you there? And how much active are you? When you go to your Twitter, when you go to your Facebook, for instance, maybe Facebook, and you can do your own stuff. But what brand of yourself have you created out there? So remember, when you have that brand, that is what will be speaking, that is what will be speaking for you. Sometimes in cyber, they may say, oh, we want to be anonymous. We don't want to be known. Yeah, it makes sense. But let me tell you, you are not going to grow, because there are situations where you need to be known. Your brand need to be traced on the internet. We can be able to audit you. When we search your name on the internet right now, if you open Google and we type, for instance, let's say Simon someone, enter. So what is going to come? Is it a series of some blogs you have done, some talks that you have done, some people you have helped out there? And this is one of the capital that you will need as a young person in the next 20 years. So someone will just search you out and they get you into their board as a board of as a director in their board. So let us make that as a decision. Make your personal development a priority. So we'll see that at the end of the presentation. How do you cultivate personal development? Like now here, right now, I want to commend each one of you or each one of us. We are assembled here this evening, just trying to learn, trying to add more knowledge into ourselves, trying to understand how can we avoid procrastination, how can we be more productive, not only for the company, but for yourself as an individual. As you continue to work where you are working and even where you are learning, maybe in school, you need to build, work on yourself more than you are working for the organization. Because the moment you work on yourself, the moment you fix yourself, automatically that will overflow into where you are working and where you are studying. For instance, if you work on consistency, it is going to overflow into where you are working. So some of us, we work a lot for the company, but we forget ourselves as individuals. But that is why we are here today. So treat your job as if it's your business, of course. So that will help you to train on the faithfulness aspect. So assume that I have been given this opportunity. Don't take it for granted. In the near future, you will also run your own company, and you will not like people maybe to waste their time when they are working for you, for instance. Improve your soft skill, your technical skill, and reskill yourself. So to reskill is, maybe you have been doing pen test because you are introduced into pen test because there's some money. Then you have been doing some marketing. You are not getting any project. We are within COVID-19. Maybe you are given permission to leave the company because there was some downscaling. So I want to encourage you. What you need to do, you need to reskill. It is not wrong when you get to a point where you need to reskill yourself. Yes, you are following the pen test because you thought that you'll be fashionable in cybersecurity. When you go to conferences, people say, oh, that is the best pen tester. That is the best forensic guy. He is the hottest, the hot cake, And now you realize that this thing is not paying. You cannot pay bills with validations. You cannot pay bills with reputations that does not generate an income. This is a point where you reskill yourself. You can even go to databases as long as you know that there are some opportunities for growth. At the end of it, an income will come. So there's an opportunity for you to reskill, especially now that we are now winding up. Give me a few minutes. So self-assessment tools. So like this one is called tracking productivity. Is a very good tool and a very manual tool. So what you do, you look for a calendar, which is a physical calendar, not a digital one, because you are trying to run away from distractions, the digital distractions, the electronic distractions. So with a physical calendar, what you do is that you are building a chain. So this chain should be able to run from January all the way to December. And that chain should not break at any point in time. So for instance, if today you had already planned, this is where the aspect of planning also comes in. If you had planned today to learn about Metasploit, to maybe understand about OWASP, different standards for testings, ISO 27001. So if that was your focus today, at the end of the day, have you been able to achieve, like today? How many of us have been productive in their own lives? How much value have you added to yourself today? So at the end of the day, what you do, you go back to your physical calendar, then you mark with an X. So any day that you have not been productive, it means that the chain is going to break. And you want to anticipate that, such that there will be no any breakage of that chain. So from January all the way, if you had said that today I'm going to do gym, so you mark with an X, and don't lie to yourself then next day. So you ensure that from January all the way to December, the chain is full. So that one is called, it is known as Seinfeld strategy. It is something that I've been using, in my own personal way. And it has worked, actually. It has helped me to sustain a discipline. Because if you don't sustain a discipline, you will not be consistent, and also you will not sustain productivity at all. There's something else, personality testing. Allow me to share that link on the message. Are we learning, or maybe some of us are asleep? Maybe some of us. If you are learning, say yes. Anyone who is learning there? Good,
Yes.
good,
Yes.
good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I might be making noise alone here, thinking that I'm adding value to, and I will hate in the next 5 years when we meet in Boston, and you say you really wasted us. You told us 1, 2, 3, but you wasted us. So I'll be very happy when you buy coffee, or when I buy coffee for you when we meet in Australia in 2042. So the next one, so this, you'll be able, you can visit the links and check where you can do your own personality testing. You can do personality assessment, and this will help you to know how much confident am I. And you see, let me tell you, the biggest tragedy in your life is not even the lack of job, because what you are calling lack of job is just some delay, some slight delay. But the biggest tragedy is lying to yourself. So you lie that you are confident, and you know very well you have fear. I don't know, fear is equated to which animal, as fearful as, I don't know if it is hyena or what. So make sure that you don't lie to yourself. I have seen many people, and many young people, I'm also young, I have seen people lying to themselves that they are good, they are confident. But when you are given an opportunity to speak before people, what we see is you tense and you sweat, So you come to understand that you are not even confident at all. There's nothing good as being honest with yourself. So on the tools, we've shared that. I have seen someone else have shared another good tool. You can also just refer. And if you have any other tool that you feel that other young people can be able, us as young people, we can be able to benefit, just go ahead and share. So the almost the last one here is where I have received such questions a lot from many young people. You are in cybersecurity, maybe you are in employment, or you are in school. How can you be able to market your value yourself? How can you market your value? How can you also create some passive income as you are in that year, you are in second year? Then how can you generate some passive income from cybersecurity? And as you generate the passive income, what will happen is that you are also creating your brand online. So your brand is out there and people can be able to see. At the same time, it can be an opportunity for you to generate an income. For instance, I started a blog, I think 2012. It has not been very much active. I think frederick.me.came, but I can assure you, we have gotten jobs and projects out of that blog. Something that I did just out of, it was just like a joke, but I started to write, to share some stuff on cyber and do this, and that. And I can assure you that many customers have found us through that blog. So one thing you can do, have a blog, register a domain name. A domain and hosting nowadays is 2,000. And also you can do the free WordPress blog. Take a niche within cybersecurity, because you are not doing everything in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not monolithic. It is something that you can have different options. So if it is database security, focus on that. Start to share, come up with your own content, share there. Also, you can have a podcast. Nowadays, we have podcasts. You can just come up with a podcast. They are free podcasts. You can use a platform like Podbean. Podbean, you don't even need any infrastructure investment. You just register. If you have the iPhone and all that, they also have their own. And what you do, you can just do some like what she hacks are doing now. The other day they had hosted a hack. You can do such a thing. You can request other people. You can request us, host us in those podcasts. And what happens is that you are increasing your value in the industry. You are going to have your own niche, and people will identify you as per that niche. So when you apply even for jobs, and you provide a CV on someone else who already has these blogs and podcasts, YouTube, GitHub, what will happen is you are going to have an advantage above them. So if you're already running a blog, it means that you are becoming an authority in that area, in that specific niche. And one advice maybe I can share as we wind up, please, cybersecurity is very wide. So, but as you start, you can maybe try to read as much as possible. You can try a bit in offensive. If it doesn't work for you, don't kill yourself. I've seen young people trying to kill themselves to understand even Metasploit, and it is not even getting into your mind. Even in high school, some people are not good in mathematics, but they chose maybe biology, and they are doctors now. And you see, you don't have to force yourself, to understand, Kali Linux, so that people can identify that you are the hottest Kali person. It does not work like that. So you are going to spend a lot of energy. At the end of it, you'll be a very frustrated person. Why? Even as you increase your value, your technical ability, you cannot ignore technical ability. I have also seen other people coming up with blogs. They are not in cybersecurity per se, but they are not even technical, but they are hosting other cybersecurity people. And now they have already gotten into cybersecurity as a career, and they are not even technical at all. If you know you are very good in mathematics, you can now do a Metasploit. You can do, Python. You can do all those manners of configurations, which requires an extra part of your brain to engage. There are people who are not, they were created, they cannot understand mathematics, and you just accept yourself, that is the reality, and you cannot change, unfortunately. So you can also have a YouTube account and share like what I'm sharing now. You can have an account with GitHub where you can help people out there. If you are good in programming, your name will be there somewhere. People can be able to see that you have been assisting other people to fix codes, even to test, people uploading codes, but they are not integrating security into their codes. So you can also try to see how you can assist them. So how do you maximize your potential? But what is a potential? Showing the capacity to develop into something in the future. We may not spend a lot of here, but your potential is how much capacity have you created in yourself? I have seen this discussion we had with some young people. So if you graduate today, for instance, would you go for a company, let's say cybersecurity, a company like, let's say KPMG, or would you go to a company that is, let's say in Nakuru, a company that they are providing cybersecurity, yes, but they are not that happy and all those things. So most young people would prefer to go, let's say, to KPMG. But I want to tell you today that you may have to struggle for a long time. Maybe if you are somehow wiser, but depending on different circumstances, you can choose to go to somewhere, maybe where it is hidden, so that you can create your capacity. Do not rush. You are not dying tomorrow. So don't rush like, no, I want this 300,000 per month. No. Create capacity, so much capacity in yourself. As you do that, you are also stretching your potential. As you do that, you are increasing your value. And what will happen? People will not come to you because you are beautiful, or because you are handsome, or because you know how to speak. People will come to you because of the value that you have created in yourself. I use Dr. Bright as an example. He has done so many conferences. So come out of the university yourself and try to do those conferences. You will realize that things don't work that way. Probably he has created so much value in himself. And someone can pay a ticket to the US just for him to go and present something for 20 minutes only, based on the value that he has invested in himself. So please, let us be patient. Let us try to cultivate that potential. Do not rush for that you ocha huko anasema anafanya anafanya huko anaendanga na lift. And don't get me wrong. So the reason I'm saying that, I have seen young people being so desperate. So you are given an opportunity somewhere, even on a pro bono basis, you refuse. Then you struggle for 5 years. What if you focused and concentrated on a place where you will even be given an opportunity? So the reason I'm saying that, I have seen young people being so. Oh, I hope you are not happy. So as I wind up, so I have seen people working in big corporation, but they cannot even touch a server. You can imagine. They see the server room is there. The data center is there. They don't touch. Why? They have not grown into to be qualified to even access the server room. So that is something else, especially for us who are already in school. So this is a mindset. What is happening? Okay, we are good. We continue because of time. So push outside of your comfort zone. Procrastination. Break out of your comfort zone. Develop growth mindset. We saw that when we were starting this session. Surround yourself with a network of professionals. Like now she hacks as a group. We have the association. We have Africa Hackon. Just surround yourself with the right people. Don't surround yourself with people who only have pride and they are just gossiping, because you are also going to become if there are 5 gossipers, you are going to be the 6th gossiper. So make sure that people you have around, there are people you will want to have around your network, so that you can maybe utilize them. You can try to understand how come you have been able to achieve this within 3 years. What is it that I'm supposed to do? Don't think that you are so wise by yourself. You are going to make so many mistakes. I can give an example, but I don't want to give so many mistakes if you go and you run by yourself. I also made mistakes when we were starting more than 10 years ago. And I would not like any young person to make such mistakes. The money comes very fast. Before you know it, you have a car. Before you know it, you have started misbehaving. Before you know it, drinking and all those things. So if you do not surround yourself with the right networks, and you have many options that are already there. So mine your failures for valuable data. So what can you learn from your failures? Maybe you did some misjudgment a year ago, 2 years ago, you missed on an assignment. So what did you learn from that? Embrace your power. You have power within you. So please focus on your strength, fix on your weaknesses. And that is an image on the maximizing your potential. Focus at your personal level. Make sure you are growing. Make sure you are understanding the soft skill. Academic-wise, you are now graduated, 2nd class, upper, lower. Have you taken a certificate on Udemy? Free certificates. Have you increased potential? Don't always complain. Don't be the one saying, oh, I don't have this. There are free courses. Can you go there? Include them in your CV. Package your LinkedIn. Go to the social. How is your social life? Build capacity. Build awareness. Seek to be given opportunity to do such a presentation. It will build your confidence. And professionally, also keep learning, keep fixing. And I am through with my long presentation. I stop the sharing and I invite a few questions. Have we learned so far?
Yes, Frederick, I believe we've learned. It's been very insightful for all of us. I loved your PowerPoint. I'd like to keep it, but we're very appreciative that you came to speak to us, especially as young people, because we've learned a lot, especially in terms of our personal branding, our academic growth, and how to package ourselves properly so that we are, valuable to other people. I think that we've gone against time, so I'd like to invite Eve or Laura to wind up. But if there are any questions, I feel like they can address them. So let's see who responds.
Thanks, Maria. And thank you, Frederick. Frederick, it's been a very good presentation. I just started there, but it's been a very good presentation. I think we've learned a lot. I know when we were talking about having this this session with you, there's a bit of concerns about one of the things was CV writing, how you brand yourself, how you present yourself to the world. So this has been very insightful, and I'm really hopeful that the members of the our team, the community, have gotten to learn a thing or two. If anyone has a question, I haven't seen any questions in the chat, but I think you have addressed a lot of the issues that our members have been facing over the past few years. But if you do have any questions for Frederick that you would want to share later, please reach out to him. You can find him at Frederick Wahome, I think, on Twitter, on his LinkedIn as well. You can join the Kenya Cybersecurity and Forensics Association, KCSFA. They have a WhatsApp group, very active one. And Stella, you're raising your hand. I don't know if you have a question.
Yes, just a quick burning question. Thank you for that presentation. Through our interaction with community members, one of the main questions that come up is, I don't know which field or domain in cybersecurity to focus on. I hear this one is easy, this one is hard, this one has more money, and the roller coaster goes on. So maybe I could like to hear what the speaker has to say about that.
Okay, thank you for that, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, as we had shared earlier, we said that the motivation behind you taking, because the first question was, why are you in cybersecurity in the first place? And many of us, we've come to learn that, like the lady I've just shared, she's my cousin. And I know she may not, it might be very hard for her because mathematics wise, science is not her thing. So I asked her, Mom, why do you want her to take cybersecurity? And she was saying, oh, we have been reading newspapers. I have been seeing, IBC election is coming, US, all these things, hacking. So I want her also, it seems like it is something hot coming up. So that is the wrong motivation. And if she gets into cybersecurity and any other career based on that motivation, being predicated upon some form of wrong information, and also perception that there's money, those things. And people used to say, oh, there's money in cybersecurity. Why can't you hack ATM and such stuff? But I can see some of my friends here who are already also in the industry. You will agree with me that, yes, the money is there, but where this money is very hidden. And for you to get to a point now, you are now generating constant income, you have cash flow, either as a consultant, either maybe you are employed somewhere. For you to really say that you now there's some good money, you will have spent some few years trying to add much value to you. And between the time you finish the school up to the time you have added so much value to yourself, where you are now invited internationally to speak, to do all those things. If the motivation was wrong, then you are going to be frustrated. An example, the person that I've shared that I met, he was working in the bank, actually working even now as a teller. And I could see that, he did cybersecurity, forensics and all that. So I was asking him, why now? I have bills to pay. Next, are you doing anything to improve your skills now that you are working as a bank teller? And there's nothing wrong as working as a bank teller. So, what happens is the motivation, the conviction. It is just like salvation. You have to be, there must be conviction in your heart. As I said, it is a heart business. It is a business that happens at the heart. Your parents can tell you cybersecurity is the biggest thing, is the next thing. You do it. Then when you graduate, you cannot even run a Linux SIGO command. When you graduate, you cannot even conduct, moderate such a session, and yet you have graduated. So the first thing is the motivation. Then technical skills, you can now try to maneuver, navigate, and with time, your strength is going to come out. If your strength is user awareness, don't feel like you are not your cybersecurity half or partially. No, there are people earning millions of dollars because of just doing user awareness without touching any technical platform. If you feel your area is doing commands, in that room, dark room with some screens, that's it. Do you have technical ability? Yes. Is your motivation right? So if your motivation is right and not money, forget about money as a motivation. Money will come. Money will indeed come. But if your motivation is money, what will happen? Frustration will drive you into hacking. You will become hash. Is it a hash puppy or puppy hash? And before you know it, you are extradited to the US or to Rwanda. There are some people who are convicted 2 months ago, and they are now serving 8 years jail because of these things. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Fred. Stella, I hope that answers your question and that of the community members who had that question in mind.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So I think in the interest of time, we're going to stop there. But as I mentioned, please feel free to reach out to Fred in case you have any questions after after today's session. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much, Frederick, and I hope that we'll keep working together. I look forward to another session with you or the team at KCSFA.
Thank you very much, team. Thank you for organizing this, and everyone else who has been patient to listen and learn. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thanks, Fred, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.